Thanks for coming, everyone. The topic for today is let's take Sitecore Experience Commerce for a spin. This is, as you know, as the talk suggests, this is about Sitecore Commerce, and I've divided the talk into two things. The first part, I'll be just explaining a bit of core concepts and features of what the commerce is, and then in the second part, I'll be doing a demo and just going into a bit more, giving you a bit more like scratching the surface of the product or the module. I've been working with the product since it was released in January 2018, this year. And since then, it has already gone through 2 updates. So it's improving every 3 months. So they keep adding stuff every few months and so. Before I begin, just a quick survey, if you guys don't mind. Anybody worked with Sitecore 9 before? Okay, so good. And with Sitecore 8? Okay, same people. You guys, it'll be just a refresher for you, but for the other people, it'll be just like a good intro kind of thing. All right, so let's begin. So just a brief intro about me. I'm a Sitecore Technology MVP. I got my MVP status last year, or this year, 2018. I work for Interactive Strategies. We are a partner firm based in downtown DC. We are a Sitecore Silver partner, I think, like associate partner, they changed. I do blog about Sitecore, and if you are a Sitecore developer, I will highly recommend you to go into Sitecore Slack. That's like the, amazing wealth of information flows through that channel. So that's just a bit of introduction. So let's go into the topic. So if somebody would ask me what is Sitecore Commerce in one line, so I borrowed this line from marketing people. It's a powerful framework of content and commerce. Basically, it blends your content, commerce, and contextual intelligence to provide a unique and a personalized shopping experience. What does it mean? In simple words, is like traditionally you will have a different commerce system and a different content management system, and you hit a limitation or breakpoints where you are not actually personalizing it or making it unique for the customer. So with this module, you add that piece of like, it gives you the flexibility, it gives you the powerful tools that you need to do it. It's ideal for B2B, B2C, or B2X brand sellings online. And as they say today, that commerce today isn't about the cart, it's about the customer. So the better experience you give to the customers is highly likely that they're going to come back and buy it again. Things like companies like Amazon, why people keep buying them from them again and again is because you get like a better user experience. So it's not your getting the cart up there, shopping website up there is one thing, but then giving users the best experience possible is also another thing. Okay, so let's talk about some of the features of Sitecore Commerce. On the right hand side, you'll see like a big browser kind of thing, and I'm showing a Habitat website. So I'm just throwing little bits in there. This is the website I will be demoing. It's a sample website from Sitecore. So one of the main features is it allows you to create multiple online shops. Shops can be tailored to meet your needs regarding currency, shipping, language, and payments uniquely. For example, if you think of a company which is operating in USA, Canada, and Mexico, all of them have different currency limitations, different language variants, different taxation, shipping things. But you can manage all that through like one module. It gives you the flexibility to manage all those things through one central location. Then we have the concept of catalogs. So catalogs is simply a collection of products that you manage within your shops. So think of catalog is the same way as you think of like any other store thing, like a spring catalog or a fall catalog, that kind of thing. Inventory. So inventory is basically, it allows you you can easily manage and control each product inventory across shopping stores. So for example, if you have an online store, an offline store, or multiple location of the stores, and you're moving your inventory, you can manage it through there, through the business tool. Fulfillment, it allows you complete fulfillment management for digital and physical goods. Basically, so obviously for every time you're making an online purchase, you are either going to be shipping it somewhere or you will be downloading it for some subscription kind of thing. So it has tools and framework available that you can customize and tailor it for your organization or business. Shopping cart. Shopping cart is the pretty self-explanatory. It provides a great user experience to do add, remove, update products within a shopping cart. So traditionally, people will, development team or engineers will spend a lot of time doing these things every time they have to do it. But if you take Sitecore tools or the components, it gives you all these things pre-built, so you focus on the things which matter most to the customer. Checkout process, very flexible checkout process. I've seen like with the checkout process, some companies want to have shipping before the billing and all sorts of variations. So it gives you all the components or controls that you can do. You can manage your checkout process. Payments, it is very simple to integrate with third-party payments providers. Braintree Sandbox payment integration is provided as an example. So just like commerce system, you have to, it provides you the basic implementation for Braintree, but you are open to integrate with any other like WorldPay or BluePay or and any other payment system. It gives you, it's openness is there to let you do what you want to do. And then we have orders. Orders allows you to manage orders through the life cycle and see how the pricing is applied. So for example, once you make an order, when somebody places an order, they may go in and ask you for a refund, or they may ask you like, you can track the whole order management system through the business tools that you'll see later. Next thing is pricing. Pricing is obviously a major thing within any e-commerce portal, and it provides a really flexible and dynamic pricing for products. Basically, you can have price cards or individual prices which you can manage based on like tags and tiers. So you can say like, if somebody's buying 10 of these things, I want to give them a discount. If somebody's buying 50 of these things, I want to sell it to a different price, and then you can have price for the same product in different currencies as well. Promotion, a very powerful promotion engine to manage flexible and customizable promotions. Any part of any Sitecore system, any e-commerce system would like to have sort of promotions running, like if there's like a special event coming up, like Black Friday or Christmas or summer or spring, and they want to give promotions. So it gives you a really powerful tool to do your promotions. Simple things like Outlook rules, like you can say, I want this item to have this much price off if this is in the cart kind of thing. Entitlements. Entitlements are, you can track the entitlement ownership and use for things like digital downloads or subscriptions. So things like, you can have your digital entitlement is more like a subscription, where you can have like a subscription of something for 1 year, like a membership, and then you can see if the membership is valid or not valid, and if it is valid, then you can track it and apply discounts to your products or pricing. And then there's customers. Customers is, it gives you a comprehensive customer management portal where you can view all orders placed by customers, track their shipments, and much more. Traditionally, what happens, customer management is done through an external system, like a CRM system. But you have ability to connect to that system and manage all your customers there. So these are the basic features of the commerce platform. Let's go through things which are more content editor friendly. So this is marketing and personalization. I believe most of you are aware of Sitecore personalization and concepts and practices. So this module or this platform, it comes fully integrated with XConnect, which means from day one you can apply personalization rules, A/B testing, multivariant testing, marketing automation, and so on. And it gives you, there's like when you install it, you get additional data tracking and analytics events, page events, goals, outcome, reporting views. So there's like additional reporting views. You can see like which product is doing good, how many orders did we do this month, or which is the hottest selling product. All those kind of reports, they're like available, but you can also have your own. SXA storefront. If you not worked with SXA storefront before, this is another additional module that was released by Sitecore a couple of years ago. So this is basically, SXA is like a collection of components to develop your website. So things like carousel and tabs and image gallery, those kind of components which are pretty common. They give you those things and then you can take it and then you can style it. So with the commerce thing, you get the SXA component is built on top of SXA module, and then which allows you, parallel Sitecore production, and also it comes with 40 specific commerce components for shop development. So if you're looking at the screen, you can see things like add to cart, mini cart, catalog, checkout. So these are all like different components or products that you can just take it from the library, set up your pages, and you're off to go. You'll see a demo of this thing as well. And you get like 80 plus SXA components for the content development. Okay. Business tools. So business tools are a section of the module which allows you to manage products. So this is like a separate thing. It has it gets a brand new look and feel. It's a brand new business tool platform, fully redesigned from using Angular 4. So there's no more speak elements into there, which means views are data driven and they're easy to extend. You can add your own views or you can own modules in there. It's microservice architecture, which means everything communicates with other things over API, like a publish and receiver mode. Federated authentication, which is you can, because everything is over API, so you need to have authentication. So there's like a central authentication server which authenticates this thing. And it comes with the 8 core business tool. I'll be going more deep into this thing when we get to the demo and tell you like what they're doing and what they're responsible for. And if you want to add additional tools, that can be developed as well. It's simple to install. If you install Sitecore Commerce 8 compared to Sitecore Commerce 8, this is much easier if you have all the requirements on your laptop or on your VM. It's built on a new Sitecore installation framework. All it uses is a one PowerShell script which deploys everything, like it deploys the full infrastructure, and you are off to development. One of the things that you can do with the install is like, what I've seen is in the script gives you like when you're installing it, the script is only meant to install things on the same machine, but in real world you will have your setup on different servers. So maybe you have a different database server and a different Solr server, and different components are different. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either amend the script so that it installed it on different servers, or you can install it on one machine and then manually move it across different servers and reconfigure the connection strings. Another thing, have an uninstalled script handy, because if an installation script you've made a mistake in writing a path or not copied or downloaded correct thing, your installation will be incomplete, so you will need an uninstall script to remove the half installed or partially installed components. Okay, next thing, native Azure PaaS support. So it comes with the, Azure support, which means you can, in Sitecore Commerce 8, there was one of the limitation because it had some legacy components which were not allowing it to scale up properly. But with Sitecore Commerce 9, it comes with this thing pre-built in that you are allowed, it integrates or it installs on Azure components, which means you can scale up or scale down as you need. So it seamlessly integrates with Azure resources like web apps or Azure SQL databases. So for example, if you are a commerce system and you are expecting a 200% increase on your online traffic, and at those points you will need to scale up resources, and then otherwise you can scale it down. It's ideal for highly available and disaster recovery architecture. Okay, next slide is slightly technical for tech guys. Basically, when you install it, it installs two additional databases. One is shared, one is global. Shared restores all your shop-related data, and global stores your policies. You get applications role. So you have shops, authoring, DevOps, and minions. So basically, application roles are like IS website, but it means that the reason they're different is so that for scalability purposes. So shop basically serves the front end of the shop. Authoring serves like where you're doing content management. DevOps is for developer when they're making any updates or pushing things. Minions is like when somebody has made an order, it goes in and does like post-order processing. So in a production environment, you will have your shops and minions installed on multiple instances or multiple web app servers because it depends on the load. BizFX and identity server. So these are two supporting application roles for which provides authentication and business tools. And indexing role. So you have catalog indexing role, order, and customer, which means you get additional Solr indexes for your search queries and all those things. What's under the hood? Very high level. Under the hood, everything is built on ASP.NET Core, which is latest cross-platform framework from Microsoft. And everything or all data is exchanged using industry standard OData protocol, which means you get the best of the technical world. In future, they will be expanding on this thing. Okay, with that, I come to the demo thing. So I'm gonna stop talking and gonna jump into the demo. Any questions so far?
Digital asset management.
Digital asset management, it doesn't have it, but it has a media library where you can store images, but you can connect to external digital asset managers like G Suite or DAM or something else. But it's
RAM. What about RAM?
Sorry?
RAM.
RAM?
Yeah, RAM.
I'm not familiar with that one. So Sitecore, there are usually, for some of the larger ones, there'll be connectors. I mean, DigiSuite, which you just brought up right now, Lighten is another one that I know that there'll be connectors. So
we help build that.
Okay, well, we did.
Don't forget.
Yes, there's DAM and
But
Atom or something else.
It's a premium now.
There's like an Atom connector with Sitecore.
It's always been one of the vexing things about a commerce thing.
Yeah.
I have a question about PCI compliance. How does the system, does it support PCI compliance, or as a customer, would we actually have to be mindful of PCI compliance?
It does it support, sorry?
It does
PCI compliance.
PCI compliance? Yeah, so PCI compliance, that's a good question. So the PCI compliance is mostly related to, are you talking about the credit card thing?
Credit card storage.
Yeah, so it is fully compliant, but I asked the same question from Sitecore people, and they said that they don't manage the integration or payment gateway. So the payment gateway is handled by somebody like PayPal or Braintree or WorldPay, and those people are all PCI compliant. But they don't store.
As far as server, because your server.
As far as server is concerned, it is all PCI compliant.
Yeah, Sitecore 9 and later should be compliant.
Yeah, and they're also like.
Earlier ones.
The latest version also like GDPR compliant. I don't know. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's the same answer.
there's a switch, or there's like you can say true and false, and if you say true, so then it deletes the data after a certain number of time.
But what about cookie management, so that you can actually display your advertising to those that are interested? How do you manage that then? From an e-commerce standpoint?
From the e-commerce perspective?
Yeah, because a person who says that they're not interested in getting any advertising should have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And so how do you?
So that's not platform specific. So you at the beginning of the thing, at the beginning of your website, you say, you agree with our cookie policy or not? And then at that point, you can set something. Is that what you're asking, or there's something else?
You had talked about advertising and promotion and marketing.
Yeah.
All of that was covered in your presentation.
Yeah.
And GDPR covers that.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to display any marketing, and so right now, our system, we're just new customers of Sitecore. Right now, your advertising is cookie-based. And so if somebody says they don't want any advertising, then you cannot set the cookie that would actually display your advertising. And so then that is your e-commerce system. It's not, so you have multiple websites and you manage your different sites based on how you set your cookies, if that's how you serve your advertising.
Yeah. So anybody wants to?
Yeah, so it depends. So Sitecore has the capability, if you're an authenticated user, that's different. If you're an authenticated user, Sitecore totally has the capability to extend the current user, which you'll be aware of, preferences. You could definitely extend that in any way to get it so
You should
that...
move into the camera.
Oh. So Sitecore has a capability outside of this. This is just Sitecore in general. Without cookie, or so, if you know the compliance, we'd be aware of the current user preferences to be aware within that session. So you can handle that. Now, for anonymous, that's going to be a little bit different. So Sitecore's analytics and all the experience pieces you're going to give that next TB, it's going to write a cookie. So we're going to be writing a cookie. You're going to have a cookie that's going to be a little more difficult. I'm not saying that it's not solvable, but it's not something you're going to get. That's going to be custom code there. For an authenticated user, you can certainly, without having to store a cookie on there, traditionally, you're still going to store, you're going to want to store a cookie, but if you can't do it, there are ways around that by extending the platform. So you can completely do that outside of the commerce piece. It's just Sitecore in general, in the way that you can use the user management.
There are things in the API though that give you the ability to do the GDPR compliant stuff.
Yes.
So there is a method that exists on, I think it's the contact or one of the things that represent a person that says like basically forget me. And what it does is it goes through and is aware of the compliance aspect of it. And so it will forget all of the things about, like, that's individually identifiable about the user,
But
right?
that's after they're authenticated, but.
No, before you're, well, actually,
Yeah, because you wouldn't really have any information on the individual until they're authenticated.
not really, actually. So what happens is Sitecore, when you initialize your visit, it basically creates a contact ID for you. And as long as it can kind of tell that you're still you, it still knows it's you. It doesn't know that it's you, it knows that, like, you know.
Which is still under GDPR,
Right.
because IP address is still considered traceable. You're not anonymized at that.
So what happens is, there's a method that, like, you can say, hey, forget me. right? And then at that point, it loses and will delete all of and scrub all of the data that is identifiable to that user, right? So it will still, for example, it will still keep track of 10 people access this piece of content, right? But when you say, hey, what 10 people, it will say, oh, I only have data on 8 of them, because 2 of them have.
I was actually more concerned, like, as an e-commerce, you want to actually upsell, cross-sell and all
Yeah.
that. And if that person does not want to get that,
Yeah.
if they've opted out, how do you do that in your e-commerce? That's all,
Okay.
I was looking at it from an e-commerce
Okay.
standpoint. And then I have one last question,
Okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So as far as inventory, and charging them, you can't really charge somebody for a product that needs to be shipped. You do a charge, you send to PayPal, a whole, there's another term that I'm trying to remember again. You do
Authorization or something.
a pre-auth,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You send a pre-auth, and then when it ships out, then that's when you can charge them.
Yeah.
How does your system manage? How does that e-commerce?
So once the order is made, it goes into a pending state. And once it is in a pending state, so there's like 3 or 4 different states, so things like pending, on hold, released, or completed. So it will only charge you once things have been shipped. When somebody says things have been shipped, then it's going to.
It's automatic then?
Yeah,
That you charge it
then
immediately?
then it's going to charge it. Like when it knows that it's been shipped, or the shipped thing has been fulfilled. When it has been fulfilled, then it will change its status from pending to complete or pending to release.
And then is it a batch process to charge?
It's a batch process. So that's where the minions come in. So that's like the post-order processing where it goes through it. People can, like some people will make an order and then they will say, hold my order, I want to change my order. So all those kind of things. So that thing is, you will see in a few minutes.
And I'm assuming that's all configurable, right?
That's all configurable. So the one you will see is like out of the box things, but whatever you have to do, you have to customize it. So the product will give you like 80% or 90% of what you need, but then like 10%, 20% you have to customize. It's never like, you take the product and plug and play. It's never going to be like that. So it will solve majority of your issues, but there's still like 10-20% where you will have to add in your thing. Okay, so this is a Habitat website, or it's Habitat Commerce website. It's going to go.
Is this a site that you put up for demo purposes out through your business, or is this a Sitecore site?
It's a Sitecore demo asset.
It's a Sitecore demo site. It's available on GitHub. It's not supported. It's kind of their way of, it's kind of like their show and tell mock website. It's a fictitious store. It's kind of like selling everything, kind of like a Best Buy store where you can buy, TV and other stuff. So you can.
The Sitecore Habitat, if you hear that term, is going to be example sites that Sitecore put together. And not just for this one, there have been other non-commercial.
Okay, let me just reload the page so that it's refreshed. So I'm just reloading it so that it was up there. So basically this site is built using SXA components and commerce components. So what I'll be doing is I'll just go through the website, different places, or different sections of the website, and then I will buy like a TV and a laptop, and then go through the process of the checkout, and then we'll see.
Can you use my phone for shipping?
Sorry?
Can you use my address for shipping?
I'll be using fake credit card details. So
Those are the best.
yeah, I don't know why this is not moving down.
About the internet,
The internet, I mean, this is my local site. So.
Well, it's because you've got a room full of people.
Right,
We're
yeah,
great.
so demo is never going to work on the demo day, right?
Whoever does.
Yeah, okay, here we go. So So we have some promos. Okay, that's okay. I can use. So it's got some of your regular banner stuff where you can find, you can promote your stuff, and then it goes on like this. So, and then here's your commerce component that has come in play. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to buy a new TV. I'm just going to click in here and go into this landing page. And even before I do that, I wanted to actually do login, because there's, like you can see on the top, there's a login button here. So although I don't need to log in to make a purchase, I can make a purchase as a guest, but just for demo purposes, I'm going to log in so you can see what's there in the login, behind the login as well. So since I'm not logged in, you can see the login thing has changed into my account, and I will click onto my account, which is going to show me that I have, this is my email address. These are my two addresses. One is my office address and one is my home address. There's like standard options that you see in the profile, and then a history of orders that I have made previously on the website, so I can click on the order number and it gives me order details like what I purchased and what was my total at the end of the day. So I can go back to account management, and I can, if I wanted to add a new address, I can click on here and I can say add a new address and save changes. So all these things are made out of components that are ready to use. You just need to brand them to your own website. So let's start buying TV now. So I want to buy a 55-inch TV. So I'll go into televisions. I see there's a lot of televisions, so I can filter it using I want to buy a 4K HDR one, so that has filtered my televisions, and there you go. So I can either click here to add into my basket, or I can just click on an image to go into more detail for the product. And once I go into more detail of the product, I get, you get the bit more description of it. And over here I'm going to say add to cart, and once it's been added to cart, then it pops up here and says like you have added this television to your account. Next thing I want to do is to do laptops, so I can click laptops here, and then I'm just adding two things, and then I'm just going to proceed to the checkout process. I want to buy like a 15-inch, so this one I can buy. So let's buy this one. And I'm going to do add to cart.
If you want to add feature like comparing product,
Yeah.
is it out of the box, or is that you have to customize?
That's, you have to customize. It's not there. So my cart is showing these two products. I can click on view cart. I can click on the checkout, but I want to start from view cart thing. So view cart is like your first step in your checkout process. You see your subtotals, the shipping and taxes are 0 because you haven't identified how you want to ship it or where you want to ship it. The next step is your delivery options. I can ship all the items to one place, or I can say I want to ship items individually. So I want to ship TV to, let's say, my home address, and I want to ship laptop to, let's say, my office address, which is this one. And then there's the shipping options, so it's getting like what are the available options or the integrations you have. So this is a TV, I want to go with standard, and then this is a laptop, I need it urgently, so I'll just go next day air. and then I can click continue to billing. So on this page, if you are as a guest, you have to enter your email address over here. This is the place where you need your email address. But because I'm logged in, so it has just already auto-populated my email address. The next thing is how would I want to make a payment? So I can either pay via gift card or I can apply using a credit card. So I'm just going to use a test credit card number with the expiring date, and this is this is going to validate that I have a valid credit card number, and then add my billing address. So now you'll see my taxation and shipping prices are coming up, and I can click on continue to review page. So then the next page is the final review page, where you can still see like what's on the website, what are you making purchases. So all these calculations, all these shipping and discount and taxations kind of things, which you'll ask like development or engineers to do. These are all kind of things that they provide you. It comes with the module, so you don't have to spend time on these refinements or like testing and stuff. And then you hit on confirm order. You click on confirm order. Did I click? I think I did. Okay. So if you, once the order is confirmed, why is it not confirmed? Order payment must equal or not greater than grand total. Okay, you see on a demo day it's not. So something has gone wrong, so
Yeah, just
it's going to remove something.
Oh, it might be larger than what you can use on a test credit card.
no, but then the message is wrong.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
An error message would never be wrong.
that message will never be wrong.
It's an error of error message.
It's the error of the error messages. So, but don't worry, I have a backup plan. So I have already made a video of the process. In case I can't resolve this error message, I can start again. But anyways, what happens at the end, that you get into at the end you'll see a confirmation message, which was going to. So I'm going to switch to my demo video, which I made it beforehand, so that just in case for things like this. So this is just like the start of my demo, where you go through the things and you are actually adding your address and stuff. So I did add the same TV and a laptop. I just went from the home navigation. So this is, I just going to go to the part where we got stuck. Yeah, so this is what happens when I click the confirm order. So you get like your this is your order and it's in a pending state, and then you can go back to your my account section and you can see that there's an order which is in a pending state, and if you click on it, you see that it's the same order or it's the same price that thing. So the next thing I will do is I will switch back to, I can go to the live mode, or you want to watch the video? I can switch to the live mode.
I'd like to know how it does in session persistence. Like when you have a moment like that, does your shopping cart all
Yes.
leak out? Also, so you were asking earlier how to do an uplift, how to push something at that moment. Why is Sitecore better or something like that?
So session persistent is, if I go back, there is like this little eye thing that I have not clicked, but if I click this thing, this is basically showing what I have been doing on the website, which pages I've been visiting. If I click on personal information, it will identify me that I've been on the website using different devices or incognito mode. So it does, the way it does session thing, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is it stores a cookie on your website, and then that cookie is in your XDB contact database, and then if you're there, then it matches that hash of a cookie thing, and you know,
It does a
tracks-
handshake between
It's just a handshake between the two things. So there's like it tries to identify you. If it to find you, then it knows that you're the same person, you know, with the same ID and stuff, unless you delete your cookie.
Now, this navigation information right here, is that available to the CRM systems, to the agent that you might be calling in, or if someone's monitoring, like in a chat session, if they start to see a customer in distress?
So that is actually part of the demo. That's part of Sitecore's demo sites. Now, that information is available, and Sitecore provides reporting capabilities that you can look up that information, but this actual swing out thing is a sales tool. It's a sales tool for Sitecore so that they can do exactly what he's talking about here, which is, and these are the things that we know about you, so you can show the capabilities of the product.
When you say it's a sales tool, meaning as a customer, we won't actually be able to do that?
So this information get posted to the database once the session is closed, like
Yes.
once, so then it flushes all that information at the end. It's not in real time, because if it start doing it in real time, then the application is gonna go slow. It's just gonna go down like
So-
really slow.
So Sitecore's, to sum it up real quick, Sitecore's XDB, actually in Sitecore 9, which we're talking about here, is more often going to use SQL Server, or actually SQL. It, up until this point, used MongoDB, and what it would do is, and the reason for that is for speed and performance. It would take this one storage, and as you do things, it writes to it really quickly, just key value pairs. Boom, 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 I'm right, you did, you did, you did, you did, you did. When the session is done and it flushes it, there's a separate processing or that processes that stuff and loads it up into SQL so that it appears to your reporting. Sitecore comes with a lot of built-in reports. It also, you can configure reports, it's easy to make custom ones and stuff. That guy that's flipping out there is, what I meant by sales tool is, that site was built up as a demo. It's so that when you're walking people through the capabilities, just like Naveed is doing here, you can show, hey, look, we know this. We know that you know, Sitecore right out of the box has a lot of personalization. You can tag pages that say, you know, I really like, you know, pet products or something like that, and you hit 10 pet product pages, then we categorize you as somebody who is a pet owner or something, or a pet lover, and then, you know, you can be marketed to in that fashion. What you could see in this in real time, as part of like, is to help people understand what this flyout is, you could see the people that fit into categories and stuff in real time as part of the demo. Could you extend this? The answer, of course, is yes. You could actually, the habitat stuff is available, well, like Naveed said, it's on GitHub. The habitat stuff is available, which means that the code exists for this that you could have. Sitecore out of the box isn't just going to have this available to you, but when you develop your site, you could certainly reuse that code. Actually, we've done it in the past, where we have given this type of feature. I don't think we use Sitecore's code, but we did a similar thing. And it was only available in certain circumstances, certain environments, to certain people. You could control it like that, like permissions based. So the long answer, which is what I'm good at, and the short answer is not so much, is, yeah, you could totally do this, but it's not out of the box. But it's not a tremendous amount of work to do it because they provide code for it.
But your long answer actually created another question in my head. You stored in MongoDB, so you're not really actually storing cookies, you're storing it in the database. And whether it's anonymized, as you had said, you're actually tracking that computer and all the different things that they're doing. Is that fact?
You can control, and Ed may know more about this with me because I am not as familiar with those things there. You can control what is stored in there. So Sitecore is going to be aware with XDB, you're going to have a cookie that's associated with it. Whether or not you're storing the IP address is separate from whether or not, or from tracking the things that you did.
That's exactly what I.
Yeah, so I'll be totally honest with you, I'm not completely familiar with what it does. I think Ed Selling was more familiar, it's a new feature. But yeah, you can absolutely control what data is stored by a user. You can remove data that's stored automatically. You can certainly extend it. The newer versions, it becomes a lot easier to extend what you know about the individual. On places where you don't have to worry about that compliance, you can absolutely, within the user profile, store their email address and their address and, their favorite, coffee, drink that you have, or whatever data you have on them that you specifically want to flush out into being an attribute about them. If you're allowed to, it's very easy to extend that. In a lot of cases, you're not going to be, but it depends on what it is. In some cases, you absolutely can know all this stuff about your customer, and it's cool. And so they provide that. So you have the flexibility to do that around that.
And the way that that's stored, just to kind of make a point about that, is that, so the data itself that user XYZ did this thing, and this thing, this thing, and this thing, that all gets stored in Sitecore control data, right? So it goes into the MongoDB instance, which, or used to, goes in there and just kind of held, and then gets processed and put into another database. But all that the cookie, that the actual browser cookie says, is, hey, I've been to your site before, and I'm user XYZ, right? And it doesn't even know if it doesn't know that XYZ is Ed Kapuzinski until I authenticate as Ed Kapuzinski, and then it knows, oh, hey, XYZ is this guy. But the mechanisms exist for specifically as a result of GDPR. For
You know
me,
exactly why I'm asking.
oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's huge, right? That for me to log in, or not even to log in, right?
Exactly.
But for me to come to the site and be like, hey, forget everything you know about user XYZ. You don't know who I am, but
You shouldn't even start tracking, and that's actually what I'm trying to get to, is that with GDPR, you've got the 3 different cookies, your functional, statistic, and marketing. And so what you're doing by your tracking every movement, if a GDPR user says, I am not, you cannot even track it and flush it out. You're not allowed to track it at all. And so I'm just trying to understand,
So I don't know the exact mechanics of it, but I will say this: the people who have developed this
are aware.
They're aware, and it's very much in their forefront, right? So I don't have as much of an intimate familiarity with the stuff itself, but I know they're on top of it, and that as long as whoever you're working with do the implementation.
I mean, I would think so. It's just that it's such a PTSD.
Oh yeah, no, it's still a new thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Even people, not a lot of people have done this, right? Not a lot of, and on top of that, not a lot of people have done Sitecore Commerce implementations after GDPR, right? So it is kind of a whole new world, and you do want to make sure that all of your, everyone involved is always remembering, hey, don't forget about this, right? It was still like when HIPAA was new, right? That it was like, hey, so this person browsed about this health information, maybe we shouldn't store that in their, plain text user profile, right? That, you want to make sure that everyone knows what the story is, and that, you're always thinking about it. But the good news is that when you think about it, you can actually do something about it, because it's, they live in the real world too.
Yeah, we have, outside of Sitecore, one of our recent internal walk through, check out, yes, you have passed this internal course on this, has to do with those new standards. Has nothing to do with Sitecore, so we understand what we're allowed to and not do, especially because global company, developed globally, that kind of stuff like that. At this point, I have, the extent of what I pretty much know is that 9 and later, yes, it's compliant. Not really 100% sure how they handle that yet. That's something I've got to spend time on.
Okay, I just know that, when I talk to people, they say they're compliant, and then when you drill down, they really are partially compliant because it's a rule, it's a law that's evolved even in the last 3 months. And so just understanding that, I'll stop with that comment. You just said some things that caught my attention. And honestly, I'm trying to decide, kind of like what you said, do we go with your product from that standpoint, or just use Sitecore from the content management and use Salesforce? Because they also have an e-commerce.
Well, and
That's the old demandware platform.
yeah.
yeah.
So I'll throw this out about that. That The Sitecore Commerce stuff that you're seeing right now is very new, right? And because Sitecore so I made this joke earlier about buying a Commerce server, but Sitecore had bought a Commerce server from Microsoft a couple of years ago. And what they realized when they got into it was that this thing was a bunch of crap. So they basically rebuilt the thing from the ground up. And because they rebuilt the thing from the ground up, they knew about this stuff, kind of, and because it's a recent development, because the product has been recently developed, they're kind of ahead of that game. And because Sitecore is actually a European company. So they've, for us it's like, oh, this thing that happened over there and some of your users have to deal with. But for them it's like front and center, right? So they're really on top of that. And because this stuff is also relatively new, that if you're starting a new product or a new project with it and you're trying to make up your mind, I think there's a real benefit to using this as opposed to something that might still just be something with a new label stuck on it.
Or trying to catch up to it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, let's jump back into the presentation.
We derailed your presentation.
Totally derailed you.
So, when you log into so this is, I've just gone back into the real mode. In case something happens, I can switch back to the video, so don't worry. You'll see it all. So you'll, in version 8, Commerce 8, we'll have components or tools lying around here. What they've done in version 9 is they're given this separate tab which opens up, a separate independent browser window for management. And this is where, you can have your different roles or different people who are actually involved in this thing. So give them separate logins, and a person who's involved with the pricing is only doing pricing and so on. So once you log in, you see this is the dashboard which has all these business tools. So the purpose of these business tools is to manage your product and customer information. Okay, so there's a few of them. Normally I start with the orders, so I will still start with the orders because that's the easy one to start off with. So if I click on orders, I can go in here and I can either search for the order, or I can click on all the orders that have been made so far. So the one that I made yesterday was this one, which is the same amount in dollars. I did like a demo yesterday, so it's the same thing. So you see your summary view on the top, details view, what kind of payment method you have used, what are your fulfillment options, so you can have your address, different addresses, what are different adjustments. So there was like a free shipping discount, so you get a discount here, and then this is a list of products that you've purchased, and then at the end is like what is the payment method, and that is saying right, it's been settled. So things can be you get into the order thing, and then if somebody says, hey, I want to start a refund process or something, so there's like this little icon here which says request RMA, or it says request a return. So you click on it, and then it starts a refund process and goes on. So these are things that it comes with this view, but adding this like black bar with these fields is super easy. You can add your own one if you want to add it within the orders module. The next one is obviously, so this is orders, then you go into customers. I'm the only customer in here, so I can click on my details and get all my information. These are my addresses, and these are the list of the orders that I have purchased so far. So let's go into merchandising. Merchandising is basically where you manage your product. So let's say I go here, I click on the habitat authoring. So this is my catalog. Catalog can have categories. So let's say I will go into departments, and then department category can have subcategories, which is, let's say, appliances, and then appliances could have more categories and stuff. At the end of the category, you can have a sellable item. Any product that they sell from the website is called a sellable item, as evident from the name that what it is. So you click on the sellable item, and then you get into like, okay, so this is my item, and you get into all the details in here. Like this is my display information, price information. These are all the different variants. So this is a cubic front-loading washer. It has different variants based on color. So it has white, platinum, silver, and so on. Right now, I can't edit this thing because what they have done in this version is they've added workflow. So if you see here, it says entity version 1, and if I wanted to change this information, normally I would have clicked here and I could have changed it, but what we do is we say add a new entity version. So when you add a new entity version, then you get the editing capabilities. Most of the time, these editing will be done via API, via developers, or like if you're running an import job, but if it is like you have to do something yourself. So this is how you add a new version, then you can click here on a product details and say I want to edit these details. So you can, edit these details, change the brand or add a new tag. If you want to localize it, which means you want to display it in a different language, so you can say, okay, so this is what my language is, and then these are in the other languages. If you want to update the price, so you can click on the pricing thing, and it gives you like this is the list price, and then so on. And then you have variants, so either you can add a new variant or delete one of the existing variants, and so on. So if it is like a book or something, they've given you some identifiers, which is like ISBN code or SKU or tax ID, and so on. So the product schema is based on, it's called like they're using the global one, which is product.org schema, which is used by like more than 1 million products. But in case you have to add your own fields, you can also extend it.
So if you want to have another, like, for Canada, like you have another one title for French, you have to actually type it right in that field.
Yeah.
It's not like automatically they know how to map to French. You have to actually type in French, one of the field, right?
Yes, you have to type in.
If you ever use Google Translate, you probably don't want it to automatically translate.
So, but sometimes I think there's some sort of service and they translate and you just confirm that.
Well, there's a Sitecore is connected with LineBridge. That is an automatic
Small question.
Yeah, and then
translator.
you just confirm,
Sorry, yeah.
These attributes are not dynamic. I mean, the administrators can't add new attributes to the system, or they can.
They can, yes.
They can dynamically choosing the type of this attribute, for example, the administrator decide to add the weight, for example, of the
Yes.
product. So it can.
You can, so I'll show you. So you can add dynamic things. So what you have to do from here, you say you go add a view, and then let's just say demo view, and then I get my demo view here, and then over here I say I want to add a property, and the property is what, weight. I call it weight, and then property type is, let's say, decimal or integer, and then you can add that weight property. And then if you want to add another property, you can go on.
And these properties are not organized in some structure like a hierarchical structure to use for search, for example, for facets or something like that.
No,
It is a plain structure, right?
it's a plain structure.
It is a plain
Yeah.
structure.
So behind the scene, what happens, which I'm not going to demo here, is everything is managed by API. So there is API to call the products based on ID or based on something else, and then you can filter those things, the products on those things.
In this architecture, there is a common problem with performance, because especially if you have a lot of products and a lot of characteristics, and they come quite
Yeah.
complex.
So, I mean,
Sitecore has in this bit, they have solved some of that by having a separate product catalog that has its own caching. It's actually its own database. Sitecore has a concept called a data provider that is like a low-level, very low-level way of bringing in outside information into Sitecore as though it was there. They still do it this way, but they've actually extracted it out so that it has its own data store that's internal to itself, to the commerce, that has its own caching layer and all that kind of stuff that's specifically for the products to facilitate some of the performance problems you would have with that.
yeah, so as Brent mentioned, performance issues are managed by caching. So, their main aim is to provide you with the tools to manage this.
Okay, and the last question. There is a common pattern for product pages to have the short information about the product in the table form and the long information where all attributes are listed. And how to mark that some attributes here should be in the first table or in the second table or in both.
I think you would do this. So the way that Sitecore is going to work on that is that in Sitecore, when you define the specific page and what's on the page, you would define that differently, even though it's the same model that's coming back.
But it's hard-coded. We need to think about attributes.
No, the way that you're going to develop that would be secondary to doing it like this.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you talking about extending it and then putting it into different locations? So, yeah, so that's where you have these additional views where you can have, like, this is my table 1 view, this is my table 2 view, and then within these, views, you can apply those things and then get it. Okay. So, I mean, the point is, it's not restrictive. You can extend it, but this is what it comes out with.
But can you extend attribute entities?
Pardon?
Attribute entities, like when you're writing attribute, you have this name and type, that's it.
Yeah.
It's extendable.
How extendable that is? Pretty extendable. I think this is the one they've added in version update 2. In version update 1, everything has to be done via code base. So I think, so right now you just see these 3 property types, but you can extend these property types to say, so it's a string type, date, time, decimal, integer, boolean. But the idea is that you can add your own.
And your own list type.
List type, yeah, there's list type. So the list type goes with add selection option constraint. So this is where you say, you give your, predefined thing.
I would assume that you're going to, the way that they have this is you're going to go to the core database and add your new option and then tell it. I'm sure that they have a hook there to tell it what piece of code you run for that. Is going to be my guess. Just seeing how it's stuck together.
So is this commerce, so Sitecore now becomes the commerce system as well as the content management system?
Yeah.
So does it integrate with other commerce systems? Is there, so you're creating attributes
Yes.
and that's being stored,
So-
can it go into others?
So, yes, this is kind of like, if you have an existing commerce system, this is kind of its replacement. So if you have a one data source, so this is another data source kind of thing. So if you have, let's say, commerce or something, so then you can replace it with it. So it's kind of like a parallel of it.
So Sitecore has provided the capability that they run the cart. Sitecore has provided that they run the cart, they organize everything. But in the same sense, you could talk to another system that does all of those things There's a lot of different ways to hook it up. They have, I mean, obviously, if, they give you the capabilities, and if you aren't using one of those other systems, you can totally run everything on Sitecore. But if you have a legacy system, or you have, if you're using another, full-on e-commerce system, there's a layer there to connect to do all of those pieces, all those transactions, so that you can, so the answer is yes and yes.
That probably requires some custom development
Yes.
to make sure they talk to each other.
Yeah, there's connectors.
Sorry, I had a hard stop at 8, but thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
No problem.
We import catalogs more often than not. At the enterprise level, we don't ask our customers to manage catalogs here.
Yeah, so in real world, what will happen is you'll have engineers who'll have long CSV files or zip files, and they'll import all the data.
So ultimately,
Ultimately, you wouldn't be doing that thing. I was just doing it like for demo purposes, how you can extend it and manage it by UI.
Well, the models we have is when you have commerce and content together like this, you control the entire experience layer. So we do a lot of personalization. Then everything the customer's seeing is Sitecore. You can manage all the UI. You can make it work seamlessly. But often behind the scenes, we might import catalogs on a batch or every other day. And then if the catalog changes or the DAM or the pen data changes, that gets sucked up into Sitecore. There are scenarios with smaller catalogs where clients manage some of this, but like we did something for GE where we had 30,000 product attributes. I mean, it's not just products, but attributes of products. So you wouldn't do that here.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that. Okay, so the next one is inventory. Inventory is pretty simple. So you have like different inventory sets. If you want to move, let's go into my DC store. So this DC store has only got like one sellable item. But if I want to transfer some items from one store, so let's say I want to transfer some of these Skinny Buds headphones from here to the other inventory, I can click on transfer inventory. My target is DC store, and I can transfer 1,000. And I click OK, and then that's where it says OK, I've transferred it. It lowers its quantity value, and then if I go back into here, I'll see an additional thing with 1,000 inventory. So it's basically managing your inventory among your different stores within the system.
But when you transfer the data, what's the next step? So you change it here, right? So you have to inform the customer.
Obviously, yeah. So that's like the.
Is it connect to the?
No, so that's like the operational aspect of it. This is just a technical aspect of it. Like,
I was like, okay, so you change it here.
It's not like you're doing it.
So what's the actually workflow that actually you cover?
That will be like, you have a truck load of thing going there, and once it's there, then.
So you just that the one. Okay, that's pretty nice feature.
Okay.
I have more question about promotions. So is it possible that there is this thing that potential promotions, like recommendations, like put this product in the cart and you will get 10% off.
Let me get to promotions and then.
So this feature is available. I mean, potential promotion. The system recommends you to do something to get and benefit. Or you need to code that in advance. And
you can, I think it's available. There's like item-based promotion, and you can say if this item is in the cart, then you can apply this promotion.
Yeah, it is a very common thing. But I mean, for example, the message on the product page, or you open the product page, and the system says that this product has 20% off with another product.
Like related products or related, like a bundle product. Like a bundle product.
Bundle products in this case only one example of such behavior. I mean, the common thing like potential promotions. For example, if you
dynamic bundles, so that if they buy this and this,
if you buy
then
this,
it will automatically give them a 20%.
Yeah.
You don't set a bundle and say you're buying bundle A.
Yeah.
And it's just this.
I must add because, for example, in hybrid, so this thing is not nicely, and it would be great to know.
Okay, let's get into promotions then.
Okay.
So let's.
cognizant of time, right?
Yeah, we are just running out of time, so so let's get into promotions. So promotions, so like promotions will have this promotion books. You can have multiple books, and then within promotions you can have your individual promotions. So some of them are like already approved. So this is the one which is a demo promotion. I can click on this thing. Hopefully there's nothing there. Let's start from the beginning. So I can click on, say, hey, add a demo promotion here. So demo promotion 2. I'm just gonna go same thing, and I can set the time to be next year. So swell it to next year. Okay, and then select the date and display text. Okay, so this is my demo promotion 2, and then I can get into the promotion, and then that's where I can apply different kind of promotions. So I can start with the item, or I can start with the qualification. So qualification is the thing that you were saying. So what kind of conditions you want. So these are the predefined conditions that you have, like is pre-order available, is inventory in stock, or most of the time it's like if customer order total compares to a specific value. So if this is the thing, then you can say, okay, if it is compares to equal or greater than equal to 100 or 1,000. So if it is equal to 100, then then you can add additional condition and say, okay, cart has fulfillment, like they have defined a shipping address.
You can click.
Yeah, so you can basically build up your scenario like whatever you want to, and you're not limited to these rules. You can add your own rules, and then you say, okay, what is my benefit? So the benefit is, I want to give them free shipping, or I want to give them like % off or amount off. So let's say I want to give them % off, and I would give them like 10% off, and that's probably it. So that you can define your own conditions and scenarios. How do you want to define it? And then at the end you say, I want to approve this thing. So you send it for approval, request for approval. It goes through the approval process, and then it becomes a system, and then it looks into your card, and then it applies those promotions on the fly.
So better than hybrids? Better than hybrids?
Oh, it's a long story. That's for the next time.
You're being recorded.
Okay,
Just waiting.
this one is a relationship definition. So this is where you basically say you want to relate one item to another item, so you can define these things. So like if you're selling a laptop, you also want to sell a warranty. So you can define your definitions over here, and then those things can come up in different product module. And then this is the composer. So this is basically where you're extending your components, or where you were extending your tags and stuff. So it gives you all these things. So let me stop here, and let's just go back into the final thing. It'll only take like 2 or 3 minutes. Is okay. So we saw the front end. We saw the business tool. Now it's more kind of like, how do I get this product onto the website? Okay. So 90% of the time there will be like a script which will be running, and which will be basically taking the products from the data store and outputting them in like a dynamic way. You don't have to do these things. But in case you want to say, hey, I want to see, like, I want to create a landing page, or I want to create a promotion page for something. So my content editor is loading. Okay. So I want to create a new landing page, and I want to call it landing 3 for obvious reason. And then I can go into my experience editor mode, where I will have a set of tools or set of component library that I can drag and drop onto the page, which is going to bring in information like product information and product images and stuff like that. So I get this. So normally this is like this arrow is like this, but if I click here, I get a toolbox, or this is like my playground, like what I want to do. So the first thing I will drop in here is called catalog item container. So this is basically, it's going to set up the start of it's going to set up the context of the subcomponents. So instead of setting up context on every subcomponent, so like images and information and other stuff, you add like a parent component where it is going to apply this information to child components. Okay. So it's thinking. It's probably because something happened or something. I can switch to the video, that's fine. If it's going to take that long. Yeah, let's switch to the video. So let's see where we were. Okay, yeah, so, okay. So we create a page, and then we go into this toolbox, and the toolbox you deploy this catalog container item, where you find your basically data sources, you deploy it, you select it, and then it says okay. So you have your catalog item container, you hit save. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to structure a page, so I'm going to divide the page into 2 columns just for visibility purposes. So this is called splitter columns component, which is I can have column 1 and column 2. So in column 1, I'm dropping in product images, and in the column 2, I'm dropping in product information. So because I dropped that parent component, it knows where's my images and what is my information. I don't have to select it again. The next thing, I'll drop product inventory, select this data source, drop in product price. You get a product price. So this is like a dummy price, this is not a real price. But when I'll hit save, you get the real price. And then this is product variant, so this is going to be like what are different variants of it, like silver, gray, and stuff. And then finally I drop in add to cart, which is like through which I can click on add to cart. I hit save, I click on save, and then it will change into its real price and real information. So I think that's where I am. Thank you very much.